Hello, everybody. Uh, my name is MadMegaX381. This is SpeedGaming 5, and this is the Rockman 3 tournament. Tonight we have a matchup between kyleprecise and Khanster786. Let's see here. kyleprecise finds his way into this by after winning his first match and falling in his second to Casio third, and Khanster finds his way here by falling in his first match to Not Riley 4. So tonight is a best of 3, and Khanster and kyleprecise have different routes, and we can get started on, and we can talk about all those things in a little bit here, but let me check in with the runners, and we will see when they're ready, and we'll get going here real shortly here. There we go. I might have been muted there for a second. My bad. All right. So we should be getting underway here very shortly. And as I said, both of our runners come in here with a fair amount of experience. I'd say, I believe, actually, when I was checking, I think both of our runners' PBs are, kyleprecise's PB of 36:59 occurred in 2018, according to Mega Man Leaderboards, and Khanster786's was a PB of 39:52, achieved in 2017. So these are seasoned runners, and I know that I can speak from a little bit of personal experience as well. That this is there are a lot of new names and a lot of new faces, but there are a lot of names from a few years ago too. So it's been great to see a whole bunch of returning runners getting to go again, and it's one of the great things about returning runners is we get a lot more routes. I think Gemini first route was originally one of the world record routes, in fact, and one of the reasons for that is that there are only a few bosses that are weak to the Mega Buster. Gemini isn't, in fact, but because there's two of them, you can effectively shoot two of the bosses at the same time to deal double damage briefly. And the Gemini laser is very powerful, but what it really does is it gets you Rush Jet early by beating Needleman in the next stage. But we can talk about that as we make our way through the stages. But we can jump over to kyleprecise, who's working on Magnet right now. This is the Yoku block section. This is maybe the most annoying part of the Magnet first route. You have to wait for these Yoku blocks. You see kyleprecise make no mistakes and make his way quite quickly through there. Takes D-boost. That's intentional. That's a lot faster. If you have trouble mashing that enemy down, I believe he takes 4 shots. It can be tough to do on a single jump, so you take a D-boost, it's a little faster. And here with a Magnet fight, the key really is you're hoping to do as much damage as possible, and every time he jumps up and shoots these magnets, it's actually a slightly slower route than what you want. Kyle makes quick work of Magnet Man and going to pick up his first robot ability, the Magnet Missile. Right as Khanster's coming in to fight Gemini Man, and we'll get to see kind of this, being able to shoot 2 bosses at once effectively, trying to, wiggle in the middle of the screen there as he jumps back and forth, trying to shoot both of them. And then eventually he's forced to fight a single one. But still a pretty effective... Oh no, Nadua laser. We see a little bit of delay here. Unfortunately, the laser does a lot of damage and creates a ton of lag. Khanster manages pretty well though, and collects the Gemini laser for himself. All right, as Kyle is making his way through Hardman stage, dealt with the bees. Had a moment with the bees, it seems. Intentional deboost to slide through there. We'll see how he handles these apes, these monkeys. Looks like he's going to just try to outrun them. Just go right on past, absorb a little bit of lag. That's another decision that you make depending upon how great your mashing is. I know me personally, it's pretty tough to mash those down. So, you know, just avoiding the damage and sliding away from them is pretty reliable strat as well. Dealing with these Metzdozers, one of my least favorite enemies in all of Mega Man. Hitboxes are questionable at best, I say. All right, here we have some precision sliding. Hopefully we don't deal with the bees. And here, this is actually our second, or it will be Kyle's second meeting with Proto Man here. Does 28 shots it takes to take Proto Man out in these sections. Intentional switch to magnet in that screen. It saves a little bit of time so that you can just slide directly underneath that stomper. It looks like Khanster might have had a bit of an issue here. Oh, he's back, no problem. Right as is kyleprecise makes quick work of Hardman. We get to see a fight against Needleman with the Gemini laser. Quick work of Needleman. Gemini laser takes Needleman can only withstand 4 direct shots from the Gemini laser before he falls. And that is the second Robot Master down for each of our racers tonight. kyleprecise moves on to Top Man. Top Man is actually a common first route. But in this case, we get to see Top Third, which is going to come into... There'll be some useful attempts with Magnet, the Magnet missiles to alleviate some mashing that you need to do for some larger enemies in the middle of the stage. You see Khanster goes to Sparkman stage 3rd. Sparkman is a stage that you can kind of do sort of at any point in the run. Once you have certain weapons, I think one of those, I believe, is Needle, so it seems like Khanster is taking the opportunity to get Spark Man out of the way quickly. You see kyleprecise using those magnets to good use, and instead of having to mash, it's a lot more about clean movement and being organized in how you play. So it's really smart, especially like I know that even myself, I'm not a great masher, so it's definitely helped to go this route at times. A very tricky section here with these spinning tops. Kyle plays it pretty safe. Can't say I blame him. The penalty there is pretty significant. And 4 hard knuckles later, no more Top Man. Alright, right as we see Khanster making his final approach to Sparkman. This section, casually, is terrifying. But it actually turns out that basically, as long as you hold right and you walk on all the up-moving elevators and you slide on the regular platforms, you'll have no problems whatsoever. And Khanster taking out Sparkman here. It's the Spark Shock weapon, which has some unique properties, which I think we'll get to see from him in some later levels here. Here's another. I believe this will be the third and final Breakman fight for kyleprecise as he mashes him down. All right. Go through our night and hologram section where we no longer get to see the floor. This is a section where I think you can spend hours and hours to practice on, and still always think you can save a few frames here and there. It's such a really interesting room to work on for a speedrun. Alright, and here we have the parachute section. One of the other major advantages of a... Ooh! Is kyleprecise takes a fall. Luckily, that isn't a terrifically punishing death. It's only, 20 to 30 seconds, depending upon how bad things go. But one of the advantages of this route is that this section you get to deal with these parachutes with the magnet and it makes it a lot easier to deal with. In an ideal scenario, you can just slide through. Unfortunately, it looks like he caught a small drop, and it took him down. Small drops are the worst to a speedrunner. There's not a lot of time for you to react if things go wrong. But absorbs that, no problem. Takes out Shadow Man with 4 top spins. And collects the Shadow Blade, which is one of the best weapons from a utility standpoint in this game, for sure. It's used all over the run from here on out. We can switch it over to Khanster screen. We can see he's armed with the Spark Shock, and Spark Shock is actually is one of Magnet's 2 weaknesses. He's also weak to Shadow Blade, but Spark Shock does just as well. In fact, does a little more damage, but for the purposes of not menuing, we don't often see it used for refights and things. But collects his magnet missiles as kyleprecise begins his trek through Gemini's stage. Which, again, the magnet missiles come into play here, where you can move through these screens with a little bit more ease, hopefully. Oh no! This is, ideally, I believe Kyle would have slid through that screen transition and jumped through the pit in the center there. That plug that appears to be in the center of the screen there actually isn't there. Oh, unfortunate. Just terrible luck. Just a few... I honestly thought he was going to get the zip there. That's unfortunate. His way through these tadpoles. This whole stage is very difficult, and because under normal circumstances the music would not be playing, so it makes it a lot harder. If you're really used to not having the music playing, the timing is a little everything feels just a little off. And he's gonna make the call. 1-800 Armorine. We're picking up Rush Marine. We're picking up the 1-up. We're picking up the E-Tank. We're getting some extra ammo. The Rush Marine here, unsung hero, underappreciated. Great, very, very good movement, too, to get these dragonflies so that they don't contact, and they don't do damage to Mega Man here. Very, very clean. And we see Khanster fighting Breakman here, Proto Man. We'll see he's just about to Hardman. We'll have dueling boss fights here. We'll see how kyleprecise fights this with the Shadow Blade. And oh no! And Khanster takes care of Hardman with no apparent trouble. kyleprecise is going to get a second chance here at taking care of Gemini Man. And alright, looks like we'll take him down on the second try. All right. Looks like Khanster is on his way in to Snake Man. Let's switch. So let's hear the hot jams of Snake Man. It's a classic tune. Now this stage uses a fair amount of rush jet. There are a handful of ways to get through these large snakes, but the easiest and maybe my favorite is to just say no and fly right over them. So don't have to fight them, don't have to do anything, just gotta fly right over top, like he ain't even there. So this is a stage where, again, for the most part you're really using rush jet to simplify the movement around here instead of having to take deboost or damage of or mash down enemies. As we come to this jump here, between these two snakes is super scary to me. I always think it's terrifying. As kyleprecise makes his way into the boss fight for Needleman. See how this goes. Slides in, first shot, and very clean. Very nice. And Khanster, as he's jumping up and down off screen, we can talk about that more a little later, but the reason for that is it just alleviates lag. It makes it a little easier on the game instead of having to draw all those sprites. Khanster finishes off Snake Man. And gets the Search Snake weapon, which we'll use occasionally, but largely does not get seen a ton in this run, unfortunately. It's got some. Well, it depends. It's used all over the place, I guess. When you think, we'll get there. So now Top Man comes much later in Khanster's route. And we'll see which weapons that he's picked up and which abilities that Rush has he'll put to use here in this stage to make moving around a little easier. Again, the Top Man stage is a common first stage for this game. However, it does require pretty decent mashing, and so if your mashing isn't the best, it's certainly nice to have it show up a little later when you have all these very powerful weapons at your disposal. Oh, Nadua! The laser, unfortunately, is actually not a single... it's not a single sprite, it's actually 3 sprites at once. So every time you shoot the Gemini laser, the game is drawing 3 separate sprites, and it's pretty taxing on the NES, so it has a bit of a hard time. And it creates a fair amount of lag for the game. And lag management is actually one of the most important things to speedrunning this game. You're often trying to kill enemies or projectiles or things just so that you don't have to deal with lag. Precise makes pretty quick work of Snake Man, it looked like. We get to see Top Man be fought with Hard Knuckle. It looks like Khanster missed the last shot on to make it through one cycle, but made do. Didn't lose a ton of time there. as kyleprecise makes his way to Sparkman stage. He's coming here significantly later in the fray than Khanster did. So kyleprecise here switches to the magnet missile, and he'll use this for most of the rest of the stage. Has to watch these elevators. Be careful not to fall off or fall into the pit. Let's see, opts to take the D-boost on this Metstozer. You can shoot him, but then you're hoping for drops on these eyeball enemies to give you enough to break these falling garbage blocks, basically. So instead of having to hope for drops, you just take a little bit of damage and slide on through, and you can use 4 of those, and then you don't have to worry about switching to Shadow earlier or anything like that. Makes it through that terrifying section again with the elevators and the bolts. And just mashing down Sparkman with the Shadow Blade. And Khanster makes no mistakes on his parachute section. Switches to top and approaches Shadow Man. All right, and I believe both of our racers have finished with their 8 robots now. Kyle is in the lead by, let's see, oh. Fell into a pit. Still there, still alive. All right, this looks like a tactical game over now. And honestly, folks, this is about a dead heat at present. Both of our racers, they might be in different stages, but at the point in the stages and from where those stages began, they are very close to each other at present. Yeah, I'm not sure how much longer that'll last, or how much longer I'll be able to say that for sure. But I can tell you right now, they're pretty close. And Khanster's making his way to his first Doc Robot fight. The Doc Robots are great. They're revisits from Mega Man 2 bosses. So we get 8 bonus bosses in Mega Man 3. It's great. This is Metal Man. You can say hi to Metal Man. You can say bye to Metal Man. As kyleprecise makes his way in the Gemini Man stage, the Doc Gemini stage. This is Flash Man. His ability is to stop time and just generally be very annoying. Kyle gets caught in the in a moment of he gets frozen there by Flashman. Unfortunately, that's really the only time where Mega Man will actually have like a legitimate bit of freezing time. There is when you're sliding. Otherwise, even then it seems like it's only it's not typical. I'm not sure. It's a strange thing when you get frozen like that. Kyle taking some D boosts and making short work as Khanster gets started with Quick Man. This is certainly the reason why he's starting with Spark Man. Quick Man, Doc Quick, is a terrifying fight to deal with, and he handles it very nicely. As kyleprecise makes his way into the Bubble Man, the Doc Bubble fight, and unfortunately gets 3 bubble cycle, which is a little slow. uses shadow blades, which are suspiciously like metal blades that were Bubble Man's weakness in Mega Man 2. Alright, so Khanster is in the Doc Needle. It has chosen to do Doc Needle second. And Kyle, so let's talk here about this. So what kyleprecise has done he has cut the music. He has hit spikes on the same frame that he transitions, and has thus killed the music, while the game doesn't know to actually kill him. So he's alive, but the music has stopped, and we do this because it makes the game run a little bit better. It saves us with some lag, so it makes this section here that's actually pretty dangerous and a little scary, makes it a little bit easier to manage because there's a little less lag, because the game isn't trying to play music as well as deal with drawing everything on screen. And so now the music will be back, and we get Doc Wood. And he has some leaf shield that basically this fight does a ton of damage to Mega Man. To do it optimally, you take a fair amount of damage. Now there is a strat where you can avoid that leaf shield, but it's incredibly difficult. As Khanster finishes up the first part of Needleman's, the second part of Needleman's stage begins with this rush jet sequence here, and he's made his way through it nice and quickly. He's using search snakes. One of the places we see them show up and be very helpful is they can take these Mets out in one shot. And in fact, they can even take out these turrets with one shot. These large Met heads take 4. kyleprecise getting a little unfortunate with the pattern there, but it ended up being nice because I think they were all 30 frames for Heatman. Makes his way out of Doc Shadow and makes his own way into Doc Needle. As Khanster wraps up Doc Needle, which is this is Crash Man, who is weak to the hard knuckle, takes 4 shots. We'll get to talk briefly about this stage here. So, taking advantage of a fact of the game, so when you pause in Mega Man 3, background things will still happen as you go into and out of the pause. So those needles that are going up and down on the screen, you can pause while they're on the screen, and when you unpause, they'll continue to move. So it saves you a few frames over the course of the run to do things like that when you're waiting on background objects to move. And we come to Airman. This is my least favorite Doc Air. He's weak to Spark Shock, which you can kind of just mash into him, but you can definitely also run out of Spark Shock if you just do that. But takes him out in 3. Oh, as Khanster takes a spill in Doc Shadow's stage. That's all. That's all right. It's a bit of a punishing fall, but oh, trying to set up the music despawn there. There's 2 methods to do it. That's looks like the second one. There's one where you just fall straight down and then civil movement, and then there's one where you start up against the wall. He was using the up against the wall one. Looks like he didn't quite hit his slide for that second death. And kyleprecise is going to opt with Shadow Blade strats here. One of the nice things about the Shadow Blade is that you can fire it in 5 directions. So up, right, left, and upright, up, left, basically. So you have multiple different... oh, dear, did Khanster fall again on the pit section? This is one of those things that can certainly happen. This is a difficult section, and you know, if you know, you get a little frazzled, those platforms that open up under you, there's a short amount of time where you can walk on them, and unfortunately, if you were to just hop on them and then immediately hop off as quickly as you can, you will eventually run out of space. You really do need to be able to walk just a little bit on them, and it looks like makes it through this time. No rest for the weary, however, as he comes to Dock Wood and has to deal with one of the more punishing fights in this game. kyleprecise makes movement here in Dock Spark. 2 shots of the Gemini laser takes out these tops as he makes his way into the Dock Metal fight. And Khanster elects to go with Gemini Laser here, and he'll use Gemini Laser to kill these Hammer Joes so that he can save his magnet for this Parachute section. If you were to just use the magnet missile, you would be, I believe, 1 or 2 shots of magnet short, and then you have to take some deboosts, and it can get a little scary there. So makes a lot of sense to pay the time penalty in switching your weapons from magnet to Gemini, which is a very quick input. It's a single spot away on the menu. And now we get a Heatman, Dock Heat. Dock Heat is weak to top. And what Khanster's... Oh, dear! Dock Heat, 30-second... So when Heatman attacks Dock Heat, the way that he can attack, he can take 30 frames, 60 frames, or 90 frames before he turns into a fireball at you. Khanster was trying to just escape, put some distance between himself and Heatman there, it looked like, and just was not prepared for a 30 frame wait by Heatman, who just didn't give him a chance to recover at all. So it, unfortunately, among the more punishing deaths he could take. Gets to do this pit section all over again. As kyleprecise has made his way to see our enemy, Dr. Wily. Always with this guy and his eyebrows. Taking some deboosts here through these top dispensers. Collecting an E-Tank, because you never know when it'll come in handy. Takes a deboost off this bird. That looks way scarier than it actually is. As long as when you take a deboost, you land on the spikes, you have plenty of time to make those 2 slides and get up there and get back to shooting those birds. Switches over to magnet here. A little bit of trouble there. Looks like might have misjudged a shot or 2. Unfortunately, the magnet missile tracking is kind of random. They'll occasionally just decide that they're not interested in helping. Oh, swag jump by kyleprecise. Look at that. So right there, you can jump out of slides even when there is technically no space to do so. And I think it's a handful of frames, somewhere between 2 to 5, I think. If anybody in the chat knows offhand, please correct me. I believe that it's 2 to 5 frames though. And kyleprecise just said, "Yeah, I'm going to do it," and went right up there and. Little bit of swag there. Is it 2 frames? Thanks, Mello. Yeah, he's going for it, right? You know, that's a swag strat for sure. But I'm confirmation of 5 frames. All right. Oh no, not the bees. Nice management of the bees, however. Honestly, getting those spawns there and managing to take care of them pretty cleanly. Gets all the health he needs. Picks up a couple of spare E-tanks, because again, you never know when they might come in handy. And here is one of the tougher spots in the game, I think. This is the Yellow Devil. A refight of a boss from Mega Man 1, actually. And to kill this boss quickly, we take intended deboosts, and we hopefully can mash well enough to take him out right like that. Easy devil. Wonderfully done. Alright, here's Wily 3. This is a sequence where we see a lot of rush coil usage. Gonna put that to use. Try to avoid our these terrible grenade enemies. I believe I saw somebody say that they're extremely large enemies, but it also feels like they're impossible to hit. And I feel like that is the truest statement about them. They're like, I feel like I should never miss them, and yet for some reason I always do. All right, Kyle makes his way through the these vertical screens here, and we get to see another Mega Man 1, sort of Mega Man 1 retread Wily boss, and that is the Clone Megas, which we use a weapon transfer. So that's a really cool little trick, and we can talk about that briefly, as Kyle really just makes his way through a brief section here before triggering the refights of the 8 robos. In this game, you can't pause when you have a projectile on screen, with the exception of rush shots. So if you have a rush shot for a rush coil or rush jet on screen, and you press pause, the game will pause. However, if you then change to a different weapon, those bullets that you have already fired will then take on the properties of whatever it is that you're shooting. We use this in a few places. There we use it to switch the regular bullet into top spin, which does effectively 1 damage per frame, and it immediately takes out those clones. So we talk about all that to get right back into the refights for kyleprecise, as he makes quick work of Shadow Man a second time around. Slides into Top Man, but picks up the health and gets to move into Hard Man here at full health. Little unlucky there. He was a little too far to the right, looks like, and didn't get the double hit that allows you to come out of the stun animation quicker. Pretty clean Gemini fight. All of the bosses in Mega Man 3 are actually weak or semi-weak to their own weapons. At least 4 damage. Oh no, Needle. Nadua! And the routing of the refight here is almost exclusively to minimize the difficulty in our menus. So we use the Shadow Blade there. 4 shots. Nice and quick. and also used to great effect on Sparkman. And that takes care of the 8 refights. Just say hi. Says hi to that one up. Don't need it. Gonna move on here. And here we get the Pinbot. Or at least that's what the copy of Nintendo Power I had when I was a kid said. Like, this was the Dr. Wily Pinbot. Kyle positions himself here to mash some snakes into the under turret. Takes an intentional deboost so that he can jump and mash snakes into the Wily portion on top. Does a nice little moonwalk, and not the real Wily. A little more game yet. Alright, so this is Gamma. This is the peacekeeping robot that we were supposed to be building from the beginning. Kyle takes quick work of the first phase with Shadow Blade. Switches, top spins, and a game. With a time of 38:56. Official, according to racetime.gg. All right. And it appears that Khanster has elected to forfeit this first race here. I'll be back with you guys in a few minutes. I'll get the new race room set up, and we will get the second race here underway here in a few minutes. All right, everybody, we're just getting everything set up here. And should be here, just giving everybody a chance to get resetted, everything like that, and should be ready to go in a minute or two. All right, everybody. Our runners are taking a moment, shaking things out, and trying to make sure they're ready for this second race. And so let's take a second to shout them out. I did this just before we got another raid, so let me do this again. Here's be sure to follow our racers, kyleprecise and Khanster786. And you know what? I'll also go ahead and just give a little background again. Currently, kyleprecise has a PB at 36:59. Cut the 37, and that PB was achieved in 2018. Khanster786 has a PB of 39:52, and that is from 2017. So these guys have been around for a while. I've had a fair amount of time in Mega Man 3. And kyleprecise hanging out in chat, as he likes to do for these races sometimes, shouts me out. So let me do that. I guess I can help him out. Appreciate that. Thank you, friend. All right, I think I've gotten confirmation that both of our runners are ready, so I'll get them started in a minute or two here. And let me tell you, I can tell you, I'm talking to these guys in a race room. They're excited. They're having a blast. It's good to see. They're having fun getting to race this classic Mega again. It is a really great speed game. I think it's a lot of fun. Just you know, there's a lot of tech to it. It's almost infinite the things you can learn in this game and how much time if you want to spend on it. It's pretty great. It's a lot of fun. It's also, to be completely honest, you know, it's got a wide range of options too for how you want to approach it. If you're if you're really good at mashing, if you're a good NES masher, you can get pretty far and do some things that other runners might have difficulty with, but there's other routing that you can use to help you out, like Magnet First makes it a little easier for the top man mashing down your cats and that sort of thing. Gemini First gives you your Jet First if you want to be able to have easier air movement. So there's all kinds of ways to get into a Mega Man 3 run. And with that, we're off. Again, kyleprecise elects to use the Magnet First route, sliding under these magnets that pick him up, and gets his first Proto Man fight. Again, it takes 28 shots to take out Break or Proto Man, whatever you want to call him. And I believe that the Magnet First route is actually the old NES Atlas route. It's if there are any other old hats out there like myself, you might remember that, you know, Nintendo Power and old NES books that had all the maps for the games. I believe that the route for Mega Man 3 that they recommended was the Magnet First route. So shoutouts to those guys way back in the day. Okay, deal with these Yoku blocks here, but I think, let's see. So I think we've handled those before. Let's see how Khanster handles these this tadpole section. Gets a 1-up, looks like, and we see this weird artifacting on this one enemy here. That's because Khanster managed to do a skip that basically he's playing without music right now. It should be silent, and that makes this section a little easier. Because this section's pretty scary, and if it's less laggy, that's better. So this lets you get through that section with a little less lag. Kyle, unfortunately, with a little unlucky with the pattern that he gets from Magnet Man there. The one downside to a Magnet First route is that you're a little at his mercy in terms of what pattern he gives you. And so, you know, you're basically just you kind of find that a Magnet First route you might do a few more resets than others if you want to have a really good magnet fight to open your run. Get to see Khanster's wiggles here as he's hanging out in the middle of the two Gemini men. Keeping a pretty constant stream of lemons on Gemini Man here. A little bit of lag from that Gemini Duo, as Khanster shouts it out, and collects the Gemini laser for his first weapon of the race. kyleprecise making his way through these apes again, trying to just slide away from them. Just goes right on by that Hammer Joe. Don't even need to interact with him. Can't hit you if you just keep holding up. Here we have these Metzdozers, which again, just the hitboxes on these things are unreliable. I say, they're just a very frustrating enemy in this game. Shots tink off that you would think should not, pretty regularly. Manages to slide under the bees. And we get our second Proto Man fight. Which, as I mentioned earlier, so Proto Man in the Breakman fight that is between the Doc Robots and Wily, only can take damage from 28 lemons. However, in the other stages, takes 2 damage from Shadow Blade and Magnet Missile. I think there might be a handful of others that do damage as well, but I know for a fact that Magnet Missile and Shadow Blade do damage too. In level Magnet Man, or in level Proto Man. Hard Knuckle collected for Kyle. as Khanster makes his way into the Needle Man boss room, which is a strange boss room. I think it has the largest open space of any of the classic megas for a boss room. You are very, very low on the ground in this room. Or at the very least, it always feels extra large to me. I don't know why. As Kyle makes his way into Top Man stage. Electing to just take a D-boost off of this top dispenser. Trying to mash those things down can be a little time-consuming, so opting to just take a little bit of punishment. And we see Khanster making pretty good movement here through Sparkman's stage, shooting these like sort of socket enemies at the height of his jump. Oof. Kyle getting caught by a top. But overall not too bad of movement for him through this stage here as he's making his way up to this top dispenser. Very clean there. And now we get to this floating top section that again is a little dangerous. Electing to take it a little safe. Very smart. The penalties there are very, very high. It sends you back to immediately after the first Bobcat. Not worth it. Monster is switched over to Needle as he makes his way into the boss corridor for Sparkman. Goes from one of the largest boss arenas in the game to one of the smallest. And Needle looks like double damage to Sparkman. But also does not take a lot of ammunition to shoot, so you can kind of get right into an enemy and just mash on him with Needle. Right, as kyleprecise makes his way to Shadow Man. Get another meeting with Proto Man. Makes very nice work of him, very nice mashing. Deals with these eyeballs through this hologram section. And Khanster's making his way into Magnet Man himself. Dealing with these enemies that pick you up. You see how they kind of move you around. They make these sections much more dangerous than they would be without them. And I believe this is Khanster's first meetup with Proto Man. So he's got 28 lemons he has to shoot into Proto Man. And no problem. Fortunately manages to shoot right around all those eyeballs. That does happen. kyleprecise makes his way into Shadow Man here. The Shadow Man fight is kind of scary. If you played this game casually, you'll know that it's definitely possible to bump into Shadow Man and then use all of your top energy. If you're holding B and you're inside of Shadow Man's hitbox, it can take all... It basically will remove one per frame, so it goes away almost instantly. It's very, very easy to lose all of your energy there. So you want to just tap the... if as best you can, you want to tap B and try not to be too much inside his hitboxes if you can help it. Here we see the usefulness of the Spark Shock again. 4 shots and you're out on Magnet Man. And then again, getting Magnet Man's weapon is huge help. It makes some of these stranger sections, with anything that is at a higher or lower height, you can kind of just shoot the missiles, and they're fast enough and mostly smart enough hit what they need to hit. All right, so Kyle has hit the proto skip here. Instead of having to fight Proto Man there, we just have to jump through the plug there that's in the ground that actually isn't there, and then the music stops. It plays his whole whistle and his tune, and that's it. And as I said, we do this one because it's really funny to look at this weird enemy that's the textures are all wrong because it doesn't know it, because the game's a little confused. It's also funny that that's the only thing that graphically seems to get weirded out here. But it does make this section a little bit easier. This is a laggy section. It's kind of dangerous. Little swag there. Some slides. Some single block movement there from kyleprecise. Those are doable. They're tight windows. You can slide in this game. You can jump out of a slide 8 frames after you've initiated one. And it takes about 8 frames to get from one end of a single block to the other. So you have time, but you got to be on the end, and you're jumping off right at it. This looks like a really nice and clean, no damage Gemini fight. Khanster's dealing with Proto Man here. Pretty decent, keeping up right behind and mashing shots into his back. Again, taking the opportunity there to do the menu. That enemy's timer, once it's on the screen, begins. So even once you've hit pause, it continues. So when you hit pause and come out, you can just slide right to the boss door, and it'll just jump right over you. It's a nice little bit of convenience if that's the screen you want to switch your weapons on. See some magnet usage in this stage here, which we get to see lets things get pretty easy through that first section there. You don't have to worry too much about those Mets hitting you. You can kind of shoot your shots and they'll fall where you need them to. That comes up to these Hammer Joes. Just enough ammunition. Ooh, very, very close. That was absolutely an epic stomper slide. Very, very close to getting hit a second time. Plenty of health to withstand it, but those stompers hurt. They take, I think, about 10 damage, judging by kyleprecise's health at present. And Khanster here is about midway through, I'd say, Snake Man's stage. Making his way through this second large snake. Just use Rush Jet to fly right over nice and easy. Again, this jump that I always think is terrifying. Making short work of these smaller enemies. Slides over, and so through this section, we see Khanster's up here, and he's jumping off screen. And the reason why he's jumping off screen is that he's trying to limit the lag that's occurring in the game. And so when Mega Man's not being drawn, it helps the game a little bit. And see there, it looked like Kyle landed on his Rush Jet unintentionally, but used the despawn. It was able to despawn it while he was on top of it. That was pretty interesting. And Khanster makes pretty quick work there of Snake Man. as Kyle is approaching the second of the big snake turrets here. Also electing to just jump clean over it. No sense in fighting it. So much faster to just jump right over top. A little more rush jet action. So the way that this game handles Mega Man's position there is when he's off screen, he's not being drawn, but he's got to be somewhere. So Mega Man's hitbox is actually at the bottom of the screen. It doesn't really come into play on this screen. It doesn't. It's not an issue here, but in Doc Needle, it is a way that we can take damage intentionally if we're not careful. And I believe that's it. Is that I forget what the honestly, Kyle, I'm not sure. I'd have to look in to see why you were able to despawn it. I think that there's probably a way to do so. I know that you can despawn it. You can regularly despawn Rush if you are sliding and you hit start. It'll despawn him. The Khanster's making his way through. Top Man also making sure to be a little safe on these tops, which again I think makes total sense. Doesn't make sense to fall into a pit there and lose, 45 seconds to a minute. It's a pretty brutal time loss. And if you're concerned about it at all, definitely makes sense. Takes care of Top Man with 4 shots of Hard Knuckle. And this long falling sequence. We're now in basement 10. And sliding through to again this very scary sequence here in Sparkman stage. That again, as long as you just hold right and don't slide on the elevators, it's not too scary. Definitely one of those rooms where the speedrun of it makes it way less terrifying than when you played it when you were playing it casually. Ooh, just slightly mistimed on that. It's trying to jump up. Unfortunately, when you kill a boss in Mega Man 3, you lose control of Mega immediately. So what the ideal is in that situation where you're shooting the enemy and you're not in the center of the screen, because you want to be as close to the center of the screen as you can to minimize how much Mega has to walk before he absorbs the weapon energy. You want to jump up, and it didn't look like it got him quite up. Right, as Kyle is first into our Doc stages, and he opens with Doc Gemini. These stages you can do in any order you like. It's totally up to you what your preference is. Most runners elect to do it in the order that is most likely to end the run for them, right? I'm most afraid of Gemini's stage being a run killer, so I want to do it first. Or I'm most afraid of Sparkman's stage to be the run killer, because fighting Doc Quick is really scary. And those tadpoles giving Kyle a bit of a nuisance. These are some of my least favorite screens in the game. I never seem to be able to do them correctly. Nice jump there. You can shoot one of those eggs and the tadpole will spawn, but you have a few frames to jump off of it. Makes nice movement there. See our Flashman fight. Very nice. Switch to Rush Jet, and just to make that jump, it's too high to jump without a Rush Jet or a Rush Coil. Intentional deboost. Significantly faster to take the deboosts and slide on the spikes than it is to stay on the jet or call in Rush Marine. Alright, we see Khanster's making his way in here. He's got a Dock Metal fight right as kyleprecise makes his way into a Bubble Man fight. Didn't point it out last time, but I should now. If you look at the top Bubble Man screen on kyleprecise's screen, actually, you'll see there are spikes at the top of the screen, so you have to be careful to not jump into those. Ooh, very dangerous scenario there with only 4 HP. A bubble hit would have killed kyleprecise, but he survives. Khanster despawns these, he waits for them to appear on screen, then go back off, and they despawn themselves. Makes the movement significantly easier, and the few seconds of waiting is not especially punitive in terms of time. Here, Kyle cuts the music again. Man, he gets the setup. It's a neutral slide into a hold right into the screen transition. Then during the screen transition, you let go, allowing you to then land facing right. From there, tap to face left and tap one more time, and away you go. Neutral slide into hold left, and doesn't work every time. There's some sub-pixel things there, but it does let you cut the music pretty regularly, and it's pretty safe. And that's the setup that that Kyle uses. I'm not sure exactly the mechanics for Khanster's, but you do start at the far right wall. But the idea is the same, is that you hit the spikes in the same frame that you trigger the screen transition, and it stops the music. And doesn't kill you, which is great. Mash a bunch of needles into Woodman here. Clearly not a pine tree. Has a problem with needles. And here we going through with our magnet missiles. Take care of these parachutes. Unfortunately, no drops for Kyle there through that whole section. Just unlucky both times tonight, it seems. No extra magnet missile for him. Now we have Heat Man and Airman. Wow, it happened at the same time. So try to get to Heat Man to trigger our top man while doing very dangerous. Dangerous kyleprecise, but very clean. Survives the fight with 2 HP. Scary. Whew. Monster gets the top of the screen here for Needleman, or for Dock Needle. And so what he's doing here is as he jumps up, you'll see these fireflies. They try to align with him, and they'll drop really far to the bottom of the screen. And the reason why that's happening is because they think that Mega Man is at the bottom of the screen because it's screen wrapping. And so Mega Man's hitbox is actually underneath, is at the bottom of the screen when you're jumping up like that. Makes it through relatively cleanly. Switches to Snake a little later. Uses the jet to take out that first extra large met head. Kyle using a little bit of a zip there to get right on top of Airman. Immediately switches to Rush Jet for his own trip over this very long bottomless pit. And Khanster gets to fight Crashman, who takes 4 hard knuckle shots, but not especially tough when you can basically force him to jump into you and just shoot hard knuckles right into him. No sweat. So here, Khanster is going to try to set up his own audio. Audio looks well. He survived at the very least, so he didn't have a bad setup at the very least. Kyle again sticking with some Shadow Blade strats here, liking the utility of being able to shoot in all directions. And also have a little bit of distance between yourself and that Met. Does a fair amount of damage if you contact them unintentionally. Khanster making no bones about it this time. He is not dealing with this pit, and he is not dealing with these platforms. They were unkind to him last match. He doesn't at last race. He does not want to deal with that again. I totally get it. Elects to bust out the rush jet, fly over top of his troubles. Why wouldn't you? Makes quick working into a Woodman battle. Has already equipped Needle. Tries to jump over the shield. Doesn't quite make it. But manages to finish it on the first cycle. So no trouble at all. As he's using Gemini Laser here to save just enough of, well, saves a good amount of the magnet missile, which makes this section a little more convenient, so you don't have to worry too much about running out. You see he has 4 shots left over. And it looks like we'll get a back-to-back of Metal Man and Heat Man. Metal Man weak to magnets, which I guess makes some kind of logical sense, right? And here's Khanster trying to use... Oh, very nice. You got a double hit there. So against stock heat, if you do it right, you can get a double hit. And the way that you achieve that is that you are using top spin and you're spinning, and you hit Doc Heat on the first frame that he comes out of his invulnerability animation for his heat movement. If you do that, you can hit him a second time before he triggers that animation again. So you want to try to do that as much if you can. It does save time. It helps cover up the fact that occasionally he'll give you a 90 frame wait that can take a little light. And so now we see Doc Quick. This is definitely among the scarier bosses. He does a ton of damage if he contacts you directly. In this fight, typically what we're looking to do is to take damage off the boomerangs. And Kyle largely did that, but he had one where Doc Quick kind of just jumped right on top of him and elected to take the E-Tank and live to fight another day. Here we have our most important split in the game. Oh, little swag with the pause to speed up the transition there. Very nice. Khanster walks into the first of the 2 bosses in the Doc Gemini refights with this. This is Flashman again. One of the few significant or noticeable differences, I suppose, between Mega Man and Rockman 3 is the time of pause, or the time that he freezes time, is a little bit shorter in Rockman 3 than it is in Mega Man 3. It's definitely noticeably different, but that's largely it's one of the few significant differences between the 2 versions. Oof. Unfortunately, the swimming penguin there just elected to not jump into kyleprecise, and he fell onto the spikes there. I've definitely had that happen to me. The movement between getting that perfectly right and getting it just wrong enough to die is surprisingly close. But doesn't let him deter him. Still goes right back to the same strat, nails it the second time, and up we go. Through this, that screen right there that he made his change on was a very strange. For some reason, the timing on it, it's one of the laggiest screens in the game. Looks like Khanster's finished off his battle with Bubble Man, and that takes care of his Doc Robots. Again, 5 frames. That's loves to do it. Always great. That's awesome. 5 frames to jump out of a slide when you don't have anything behind you. So the way that this is the Kamigoro maker, it spits turtles out. If it moves to the left, it's a slow pattern. If it moves to the right, it's a fast pattern. And so we want it to move to the right as much as possible. We got a couple of pretty quick movements there. Well on his way. Wily 2 and Khanster here at Wily 1 now. Only about a stage separates our two runners. Still anybody's race. These Wily stages are definitely capable of shaking things up. Crazy things can happen. Wily 2 does not actually have a checkpoint. So if you die at any point in the stage that kyleprecise is presently in, you start from the very beginning. It's definitely among the more punishing deaths in the game. Taking the opportunity to collect the extra E-Tank, smart. As Khanster makes his way up here, dealing with these Hammer Joes in the beginning of towards the end here of Wily 1. So kyleprecise will get set up here. He's gonna get positioned so that basically we're trying to time this out so that Mega Man's iframes are in such a way so that he's underneath, or looks like he that's a tough one. It looks like he caught a diagonal. That which does happen. That's unfortunate. Caught a bit of a diagonal on his jump. You have to hold up when you mash, and occasionally you'll catch a right input when you're just trying to hold straight up, left or right, really, and it threw off his positioning. But only suffers a single cycle penalty for it. It's about, I want to say, 18 seconds difference. I wouldn't really know. I don't think I've ever gotten the easy devil kill in an actual run. Khanster switching to Rush Jet. See what he elects to do here. He's going to pick up an E-Tank, pick up a second E-Tank, and there we go. He's into his Yellow Devil fight as kyleprecise makes his way into... Ooh. Little close. Very, very nice bit of reaction there when he realized that Rush didn't land where he wanted him to. Just climbed up fast enough to be able to shoot the enemies, the clone where you needed him. Yeah. So unfortunately, Khanster isn't able to hit Easy Devil either. It's tough. You have to get 10 shots in 2 jumps, and those are directional. You have to hold up for them. But no problems are had on that second cycle, and makes his way out in it relatively cleanly. Kyle elects to just ignore that health. He doesn't need it. Says, who needs health? Not this guy. Just gonna go right up into Shadow Man's grill. Not worried about health. Monster's gonna take, looks like, intentional damage from these two stompers, which is fine. You don't really, health isn't really a concern in Wily 3. You shouldn't take any damage from the boss. If you take a hit from the stompers, it's really not a big deal. Oh, unfortunately, Khanster looks like he got caught on his. He did not manage to hit the. He looked like got caught on the top platform there. And so we know where the first Mega Man spawns, the first of the 3 clones. We know that he always spawns on the top. Beyond that, we don't. But luckily, Khanster was able to find him with Snake, with the Snake, which is another weakness for the clone enemies, and take them out pretty quickly. And it looks like Kyle will try to make short work here of... Oof. 1 HP left on the refights. Let's go. Clutch, but never in doubt. Survivor right there. And right as kyleprecise makes his exit from the refights, Khanster begins his trip in them. Opens with Snake Man. Alright, we see Pinbot here again. Kyle will position himself to mash a bunch of snakes into a turret. And then mash a bunch more snakes into a Dr. Wily. In that time, it looks like Khanster's taken out 2 of the 8 robos. Trying to make sure he doesn't get caught with his too close. So if you hit Top Man with your arm and you're a little too close, you get a few seconds of time there that you can't move. All right, final boss for kyleprecise. Ooh, this is gonna be tight. Oh no! Takes the E-Tank. Oh, things have gone a little off the rails here. Just gonna switch to top. And there it is. With an official race time of 38:26, kyleprecise is the winner of this round, of this match over Khanster. Let's switch to Khanster's audio as he's making his way through his refights. He is now at Magnet Man. He's got to be a little careful here. Good fight there by Khanster. Picks up the health for good measure. Makes his way out. And he is on his way to the Pinbot fight. switches to search snakes. Oh no, a little bit of trouble there. It looks like his exposition was a little off there. All right, we're gonna. This is a tried and true. So Wily Pinbot doesn't have iframes, so you can just mash him down with the Rush Jet. It only does 1 damage, but if you mash fast enough. Oh no. Got Shadow. Not sure what Khanster's looking for there. Let's see, he'll line up here. Unfortunately, his first one was the setup was a little late. A little late to start shooting that turret, and then if the timing's off, Wily won't drop when you need him to. I'm not sure. I guess he's out of E-tanks. I thought that he would have had E-tanks from earlier. Fortunately, Pinbot here giving Khanster all sorts of difficulty. There we go, got him. Alright, just Gamma for Khanster to finish this run. Walt goes in with Shadow Blade, should be able to hit a few on the... And switch to phase 2. All right, and Khanster is finished with an official race time of 42:40. All right. GG's to our runners. See, we're working on making sure they get their invites. All right. So just a quick look ahead while we're trying to make sure that those things are happening. Kyleprecise will move on here. He will move on to the losers round 3 to a match against Sage Hero. And unfortunately, this is Khanster's last stop in this event, but there are plenty more races. In fact, Khanster himself, I believe, is commentating a race tonight. I believe that's the case. Yes, tonight on SpeedGaming at 10:30 Eastern, it's Great John versus Robo Ridley. All right. Give me 2 seconds, everybody, and I'll be back with our runners. All right, folks. Sorry about that. I think we're good now. I think our runners are here, and they can join us here in a moment. Hey there, Khanster. How's it going?
It's going well.
How was how do you feel? It was great to see you back. I was saying during commentary, you guys are some seasoned veterans of Mega Man 3. You've been around since for quite a while. In fact, your PBs are from 2017 and 2018. So you guys have been around for a while.
Those, I think, my PBs from the first tournament.
Many years ago.
Yes. Yeah, those were some runs.
Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Thanks for calling us old, Mega.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Khanster, I remember you. I remember going head to head against you in that tournament.
I can't remember who won. Was it me or was it you?
I know I made it pretty far in that tournament. I got a couple of lucky wins late in it. So I think it was me. I think it was me. We had a different format that time too. It was kind of like the World Cup is, where there was a group stage.
Yeah, it was a group stage, and I think it was single elimination.
Yeah. So you could have beaten me in the group stage, but I think we both made it out. I know we both made it out of the group stage.
Yeah, we did make it out of the group stage. I remember that much.
So let me ask. It was do either of you watch the races as it's happening? I assume, Kyle, I think you do, because I see you popping up in chat asking questions and filling us in with some spoilers for your own run. Khanster, do you watch the races, or do you peek on Kyle's stream during these?
I don't peek on his stream. I'll just have the restream up. And I'll either have the audio running or I'll just have it with no audio and I'll peek over there every couple seconds.
It is so much fun to listen to the race while it's happening. The last race I was in, there wasn't a commentator, and chat really stepped up and did an awesome job providing the commentary, so to speak.
You mean that was the commentary?
But there's definitely, it just makes it feel so much more exciting when there's a commentator. Mad Mega, you did great. My only problem was I had my speakers set up so to like the volume of the pre-show music, and so when you started talking, you were so loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
No. Oh, it's on me. I had plenty of time to adjust it, but I thought, no, I'm good. But it's crazy how much just having the mix, when you're used to playing with your game audio, having that mix a little quieter just messes with your muscle memory.
Oh,
absolutely.
So how was your game one, Kyle?
Man, just like little things, making mistakes I'd never made before, like on the first screen a magnet just getting spun around by the magnets like it was 1990 again.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Like my 8 robots was really good, just little minute like mistakes, but then I got into the dog robots and I could not get out of shadow for the life of me.
Oh yeah, I was watching that in real time. That was awful.
Yeah,
you had to go through that.
Yeah, that was a rough section there. I saw in the second race that you elected to just pull out Rush Jet there. Was that you decided you'd had enough? You didn't want to deal with that nonsense any further?
Because usually, like, right before you hit that end of that first, like, long platform, the lights flicker back on for a brief sec. So I think I was cutting my slide too short, and I was cutting my jump too short.
Oh yeah, and if your timing's a little off there, and you don't, and you start too far to the left on those platforms, it's really easy to just run out of space, run out of real estate, and just not make a jump there.
Yeah, I don't think my controller was agreeing with me. Yeah,
Mega Man 3 seems to do that to a lot of people. We start to question our controllers, I think.
Yeah, because like all my stuff was just in bins because I had some stuff going on in the house, and I just grabbed the first controller I saw.
Oh my gosh! Wow! That's like a literal nightmare scenario. That's like something that would happen to me in a nightmare. You got 5 seconds to get ready for this game. Pick a controller at random.
No,
because each one, this is like 30-year-old hardware. Like each one is so distinct, and I finally got a controller that worked really well for Mega Man 3. Like Mega Man 2 with zips and whatnot, you might need a different controller because you need control over different kinds of inputs. My one problem with this controller is the up and diagonal, which is only an issue with, say, Gemini Fight with Shadow Blade or Easy Devil.
Yeah, which caught you in the second race.
It did catch me in the second one, but other than that, it's a beautiful controller.
So I have to ask. So Khanster, this is the last race for you. I mean, I imagine you're going to stick around and do some commentary and stuff. You love to do that. Are you going to stick with the game at all? You gonna play it a little more, or
yeah? So
put it back
I was
on the shelf?
Actually talking with Papad in his chat. It's like I want to hit a few goals in a few games. Mega Man 3 is one of them, and since I'm kind of like in the moment, like I'm still doing Mega Man 3, so I figure there's no better time than now.
Oh, absolutely. And Kyle, you're moving on. You get to face Sage Hero in the next round.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that. So and when my last race fast asked me this question, I have to say I think it's a great question. So What brought you back? I mean, this, it's been a while, at least for me, like I see you on, I'll pop on, watch your stream, but I hadn't seen you play Mega Man 3 in a while. So is it just this tournament got you itching to come back, or?
That's exactly what it is. My life has been very different the last 3 years than it was maybe 5 years ago when I was on Twitch a tremendous amount of the time, playing Mega Man 3 or other Mega Mans a lot of the time. I met the love of my life. I got married. I'm a stepdad now. So there really hasn't been a lot of time. Also, I shouldn't put it all on that. I also got distracted by Tetris for a while. But
Yeah, Tetris is a lot of fun.
Twitch just hasn't, unfortunately, I whenever I have dipped my toe into coming back, I always feel bad because like maybe I have time to do a little bit of streaming, but I don't find the time to be in other people's streams like I was back in the day. But life changes, and yeah, situations change. But when I heard there was a tournament coming, this doesn't happen all the time. Like Khanster was saying, the last Mega Man 3 tournament I think was in 2018, maybe
2017, 2018, somewhere in that ballpark.
So you got to grab it while it can, because you don't know when or if the next one will come. So I was intimidated. When you haven't played a game in a couple years, like it can seem super daunting just to pick up all the mechanics again. But I was like, this is worth it, and so I found the time, and I definitely want to get a PB in before I leave it again, because otherwise, when's it going to happen? So Khanster, absolutely do it now.
Yeah, I just wish I had more time to practice, because I've just got a whole bunch of stuff going on in my life, trying to change jobs and stuff,
Yeah.
So not much time. Like last year, I think for the relay, I got picked for 3, so I'm like, I guess I have to play 3.
Yeah, it's like we're Batman. We answer the bat signal when it goes out, and then
except it's a Mega Man signal.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you guys a chance to give any shout outs you want to do. I just want to say to you guys, thanks for the race. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to commentate, and also it's great to see you guys back and running this game and being around in the community, and really just shout outs to everybody in the Mega Man 3 community, like and really Mega Man in general. A lot of great folk out there. But if you guys have some shout outs and stuff you want to say, go ahead.
So I'll probably give shout-outs to Mello, the community as a general, you for commentating, and SpeedGaming Evolved for restreaming this.
I'll give a shout out to all those people. I'll give a shout out to Fast at CC for making the best 8-hour tutorial on Mega Man 3 ever made. Give a shout out to Cassio Third, who I had the honor of playing in my last match. Honestly, that was a big reason that I finally decided to be a part of this tournament, was when I saw that with the tentative lineup, it put me in position to maybe play Cassio. That guy, he's the nicest, sweetest guy, and like a super, super talented Mega Man 3 runner. And so I just wanted the chance to lose to him, and played some of the best Mega Man 3 of my life in those races against him, because I knew I had to, and I wasn't. I mean, I knew I had to play well today, but today I got unlucky. Last time I knew I had to play well, and I got lucky. And then I want to give out a shout out. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my wife, Elizabeth, because she had a minor elective surgery today. Everything's fine. It was all good. But she told me, Kyle, go ahead, schedule your race for the night. I'll probably be in bed, relaxing anyway. So don't put it off on my account. And so shout outs to her for a number of reasons, but specifically for today, for letting this race happen, even though, there's a lot going on in her life.
Absolutely, definitely. Quick recovery, speedy recovery, and all of that for sure.
Thank you.
All right, and I think with that, that's it for today. There's another race tonight. In what is it, 90 minutes, Khanster, that you're commentating, right?
Roughly, yeah.
Give or take. And who is that? That's
I know it's Robo Ridley and Robo Ridley.
Yep,
legend, the legend, Robo Ridley.
And that's on SpeedGaming.
I got a question for you, Kyle. Are you ready for the new boy Sage take you down? Oh, you gotta put out a fight.
I hope he's distracted playing Mega Man 11 and but no, yeah, I'm a little I don't take any match for granted. I'm definitely scared scared of that, and would probably need to practice a little more than I did before tonight to avoid some of those hiccups.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for the race. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone in chat. Thank you for hanging out and watching, giving GGs to our guys. I'm going to do a real quick, I'm going to shout them out. If you would go and follow our runners. They're great. You should do that. And thank you again to everybody at SpeedGaming for getting all this stuff set up so that we can show you guys these races. And I'm going to sign off. And thanks, everybody. Good night and good luck.
Woo!
Ooh.
GG Khanster.
I kind of have to partially put a stream setup together for this race to happen.